Welcome to this short video on contemporary contributions to the Project Management Journal. The video should be of interest for all authors and potential authors aiming for publishing their research in this journal. My name is Ralph Müller. I'm Professor of Project Management at BI Norwegian Business School. Me and my colleague Gary Klein from the University of Colorado, we are the editors-in-chief of Project Management Journal. Further information about the journal and about the topic of today can be found on the website of the Project Management Journal. This editorial or this presentation here is the first in a series of editorials and presentations by the Project Management Journal. Background for launching this series is the large number of desk rejects that we have, most often because of a lack of theoretical contribution of a submission. So this is not something specific for Project Management Journal. The lack of theoretical contribution is also mentioned by many business and management journals as the number one reason for their desk rejects. Second most often found reason for desk reject is that an article has little relevance for the readership of Project Management Journal. And the third most often found reason is the low quality of the academic reporting. In this present video, we will focus on improving the theoretical contributions. So with that, we, Gary Klein and myself, as well as the editors of the Project Management Journal, aim to help authors by providing some guidance on how to meet the expectations of all parties: editors, reviewers, readers, and occasional readers. So before we discuss the theoretical contributions, let me remind you of some hygiene factors that need to be in place for a submission. It is really unfortunate that we still get a number of submissions that do not fulfill these very fundamental requirements. So first of all research starts with a question. So there should be one or more research questions that drive a study. So the research question can be either developed through the literature review, if we have something that needs to be theoretically developed, or if we have a phenomenon that is already present, then we can put the research question into the introduction section and use the literature review then to find its theoretical grounding. The second thing then is the methodology. The methodology section should include a clear research design, its underlying research paradigm, the argument for the data collection technique and the data analysis techniques used, some hints on how validity and reliability were pursued when we did questionnaires or interviews, how the ethical issues were addressed, so that we get a complete picture of the research process and the techniques that were used. Third, all research should contribute to the understanding of a phenomenon. This is not accomplished through tables and figures, but through words. Discussing the study results in light of the theoretical perspectives taken in the study allows to understand the findings in detail. So what is meant by theoretical perspective? Well, first of all, it is about how do we look at a phenomenon? Do we look at it from a psychological perspective, or from a management perspective, or from economics perspective? So what is it? What is the lens that we take when we look at it? Finally, for a study to contribute to our understanding of a phenomenon, like a theory, we must outline what the study's contribution to theory is. So at the end of the paper, we must then describe how our research result has contributed or expanded an existing theory. Yeah. So more details on these fundamental requirements you can find on the website mentioned here. So how can we sharpen our submissions in terms of theory? Well, for example, by building on and expanding project management specific theory. So if we have a phenomenon, we can look at it from a theory that was developed from project management research, and this is particular for projects like the theory of the temporary organization. Yeah. This theory is well established. Yeah. The top 3 articles of this theory have more than 3,500 citations in Google Scholar. So it's a well-established theory and theoretical perspective. But we can also use other project management related theories like the formal project management theory by Rodney Turner, or we can use leadership theory that was developed specific for projects like the balanced leadership theory. Yeah? Through that we enhance, we expand, we better explain phenomena. But we are not limited to project management related theories. We can also use theories from other disciplines and apply them in project settings. Well known, for example, is stakeholder theory. It's been around for a long time and is very, very relevant for project management. Agency stewardship theory, also developed outside of the world of projects, but nowadays a very popular theory for project governance and governance of projects. Yeah. Or emotional intelligence, also developed clearly outside of the project research, but used in leadership studies in project management. Yeah. So by using these external theories, we can make big contributions to the understanding of phenomena in projects and project management. Yeah. Well, we do all that with the goal to describe interesting research and make contributions to theory. That makes it easier for papers on submissions that we have to get on the reading list of academics. And once they are on the reading list for academics, that leads almost automatically to higher citation rates. So what is theory and a theoretical contribution? Well, once again, figures, tables, and models are not theory. We know that latest since 1995 when Sutton and Storr reminded us of that. Yeah. Theories are descriptions of observed regularities. Yes. Theories are descriptions of observed regularities, typically consisting of 4 components. The first thing is the what, yeah, and that is the variables, the concepts, the constructs that make up the phenomenon. Yeah. The second is the how, and that's a bit more tricky. That is the relationship between these variables. Yeah, how does variable A influence variable B, or is it the other way around? Yeah, so what is the relationship between these variables? The third one is the why, the reasons behind these relationships. Yeah. So what theory explains how one variable influences the other? Yeah. And here it is a big benefit to have a theoretical lens at the outset, because the theory that we take as the theoretical lens often explains the why. So we just have to dig a little bit deeper into that theory and understand it. And then we have an explanation for what goes on in the model that we have developed. Yeah. So the fourth component then of a good theory is the context, and that is the when, where, and who. Yeah. In other words, the conditions under which a theory holds. Yeah. And remember, Popper already in 1959 said a theory is only a theory when we can define the conditions under which it does not hold. Yeah, otherwise it's a tautology. Yeah. So only together these four aspects can provide for a complete theory. Yeah. So we need the what, we need the how, we need the why, and we need the when, where, and who. Yeah. And that holds for qualitative as well as for quantitative studies. So what can authors do to develop better theoretical contributions? We see good starting points. Yeah, many authors describe already the what and how, and they do this in a very good way. So they have a good start. But unfortunately, many of the authors stop at that point. Yeah, they model their variables into a nice final model. They describe the variables. They describe the relationship between the variables, but then they stop. And this is really unfortunate, because then they must go further. Then they must describe the why. Why do the variables do what they do in the model? Yeah. So here the existing theory helps. Yeah. For example, contingency theory explains why the organizational design impacts the relationship between the organization's market and its results. Yeah. So the relationship of these three variables is explained through the how, but the why then tells us what actually happens in and through and with these variables, so that they behave the way that they behave. And once that is done, we need to describe the conditions under which the theory holds. Yeah, the where, when, and who. Yeah. So remember Popper in 1959. Yeah. So a theory is only a theory when we can specify conditions under which it does not hold. How can we do that? Well, the easiest way is to look at the data that you have collected. From which roles, for example, interviewees and questionnaire studies, yeah, which roles have you surveyed? Yeah, which countries did you do your interviews in? Which industries did you do your interviews in? So these are all circumstances, these are all the conditions for your particular findings, and they will most likely also be conditions for the theory to hold, yeah, whereas other conditions might not allow the theory to hold. Yeah. So it is easiest done by looking at the circumstances under which the data of the study were collected and take this as a reference point. Good. Summing up, I want to give 3 hints to prospective authors. Yeah, first, submissions should be both interesting and theory related. Yeah, a solid theoretical foundation, typically based on one of the established theories, provides for several benefits, including the credibility through the underlying theory, the knowledge of this theory by the reader, which makes it interesting reading for a potential reader and makes it attractive to be cited. Second, submissions should go further than just describing the what and the how of the variables, by providing an explanation of the observed regularity. This includes the why. Yeah, why do the variables behave the way they behave, and the where, when, and who as the context conditions for the theory to hold. And last not least, 1 and 2 together, yeah, the 2 bullets that I had before, provide for a true contribution to theory by anchoring the predictions that are made from the study in a combination of established theory, as stated in point 1, and the present study's theory additions, as shown in point 2, for higher levels of credibility of the study's outcome. Within this short video, I have addressed the practices for more theoretical contributions in submissions to the Project Management Journal. Gary Klein and myself hope that it will be of help in the preparation of your future research papers and avoid unpleasant experiences by authors, reviewers, editors, and readers alike. So good luck with your submissions, and if you have any questions, you can contact us at the email address stated here. You can also look up the details of what we have said in the website of the Project Management Journal, or find other videos related to submissions to Project Management Journal in our YouTube channel. The address is stated here. Thank you very much.